I quit my full-time nursing job to become a full-time lash artist, and in just 2 years, I was able to replace my nursing income. That transition was one of the most challenging yet rewarding decisions I've ever made. If you're somebody looking for a career change and you want to know how to transition into lash artistry, then keep on watching. Hey everyone, I'm Elisa Falona, the owner of Lashcreative Academy, and I'm here to help you learn about eyelash extensions, the business, and the lifestyle so that you can build your dream business and make the world a brighter place. A question I get asked frequently is how I transitioned from being a nurse to a lash artist and how I started my business. In this episode, you're going to learn step by step how I did it, and I'm hoping that you're going to be inspired and motivated to pursue your own girl boss dreams. For 5 years, I worked as a registered nurse at the Toronto General Hospital on a cardiovascular surgical unit. And although I loved certain aspects of my job, for the most part, it was really draining, both physically and mentally, and it really affected me negatively in terms of my personal life and my health. Honestly, I shouldn't have waited as long as I did to leave my nursing job, but I was just so comfortable. You know, like when you have a routine set and you're just in your comfort zone, it's very hard to leave it, and so I totally get that. But some of you may be watching who are looking for a career change, and you know that you're meant to do something more and you want to feel passionate about what you're doing. It's just you're scared of leaving your comfort zone. Honestly, guys, change is never easy, but growth doesn't happen when you can't change. So anyways, fast forward to when I got married and I decided I wanted to try eyelash extensions for the first time. Not only did I love how I look and it gave me a boost of confidence, but it really opened my eyes to looking at lash artistry as a career. So at that time, my lash artist who was doing my lashes had just started training. And so after asking her a lot of questions about her business and seeing her success, I knew that that was something that I could pursue and have similar success. And basically it was like, if she could do it, I could do it kind of thing. But leaving my nursing job for lash artistry was a big decision, and I needed everybody to be on board. So after giving it a lot of thought and talking to my husband and my family about it and getting their support, I decided to take the plunge, which was the best decision. And I spent the $1,300 on a 2-day course with that lash artist. Going into that course, I had really high expectations for myself. For some reason, I thought just because I was good at tweezing my brows, I thought I would be like really good at lashing. And so I was like, I'm gonna be so good at this. I'm gonna be able to charge right away and get all the clients and then like quit my nursing job. But obviously, well, not obviously, but that just didn't happen, at least not right away. During that course, I found it really tough to learn the skill of eyelash extensions. It takes a lot of repetition, practice, and a lot of patience. And after I completed that course, I found it really hard to keep that momentum going with the practice. And so I even stopped practicing for a whole month because I just was trying to make all the excuses and do everything else in my life other than practicing. Thankfully, my husband and my mom pushed me to practice. And so I got serious about it. And the first person that I practiced on was my baby sister. And I just remember being in the basement and she was on a massage table because she's a massage therapist. So thankfully I had that, but I had like an old IKEA lamp and my dad's old stool. And my lash set, the first set I ever did, was 3 hours. I could have gone longer, but my sister was having a hard time lying on her back for that long. And I only got maybe 50% of her lashes done. And trust me, she doesn't even have that many lashes to start with. It was really, really bad. And a common thing that I hear my students say when they train with me is that they have a newfound respect for lash artists because they never realized how actually hard it is to learn the skills of lashing. And for those of you who get discouraged very easily, my advice for you is to make it a habit. So when you make practicing lashes a habit and a skill that you're continuously developing and progressing, then you have better chances of being successful at it. So after practicing on my sister, I must have done about 10 sets free sets on my friends and family just to practice and feel comfortable enough to start charging. And when I did start charging, I charged about $60 for a full set. And I did 3 things to start marketing my business. They were, one was I started asking for referrals from my friends and family, and that was probably the easiest because obviously referrals work the best. And then the second thing was I started marketing on Instagram, and the third thing was I started marketing on Kijiji. And Kijiji is basically like Craigslist if you're in the US. So from those 3 different tactics, I did see some sort of traction, although it was very slow in the beginning, which is totally expected. But I did stop marketing on Kijiji because I just felt like it wasn't working as well as the other 2. And also, on Kijiji, I feel like people are a little bit cheaper. They're looking for discounts, and they weren't just the type of client that I was trying to target. For the first 6 months of building my business, I had 3 things going on simultaneously at the same time. So I would be lashing for about 10 to 15 hours a week, and then working at the hospital for full-time hours, like 40 hours a week. And then at the back end side of things, I was trying to market my business, trying to get referrals and working on Instagram just to get more clientele. So while this all was happening, it was pretty brutal in terms of my schedule because as a nurse, you're working rotating shifts. So you're doing nights and days of 12-hour shifts. And I remember just like coming home from my night shifts and sleeping at 8 a.m. and then waking up at like 2 p.m. and then having my first lash client at 3 p.m. and then like lashing for 7 hours until 10 p.m. So needless to say, I was very, very tired. And remember, I'm already burnt out from my nursing job, but I was just so committed and dedicated to making my lash business work and make it successful. So even though I was being even more burnt out, like to me, it was totally worth it because I knew I was working for myself and building up my business. And I knew that eventually I could quit my nursing job. So the thing with lashing that you have to remember is that a lot of people are trying to learn the skill of lashing and at the same time trying to build a business. And many people who are doing that don't have a business degree, so it's kind of a lot when you do it at the same time. But I mean, that's what most people do. They learn the lash skills, and as they're getting practicing and getting new clients, they're basically practicing at the same time, but people are paying for them to practice. And so as you're lashing more clients, you're getting better, and as you get better, you get to charge more higher prices, and then people will come and book you because they see that your work is getting better. So what I'm trying to say is that we all start from somewhere. Yes, in the beginning, you're not going to be good at your craft, but at least there are people out there that are willing to pay you a smaller amount of money and to have you, like, basically you're practicing on them and just honing in your craft. So as you can imagine, the first 6 months of my business were absolutely the toughest because you are learning the skills and learning how to run a business, and I have a full-time job. So when you're beginning as a lash artist, there are lots that you're going to be learning, like handling complaints, learning about or troubleshooting retention issues, learning about customer service, learning how to do social media marketing, and all of that. So it is a lot, but just remember that you have to come back to the purpose of why you started your business and let that be your guiding light to you succeeding and to you not quitting. So I want you guys to know that if I can do it, you can do it, because I don't have a business background. I've never had a business before. I never learned eyelash extensions before. I totally believe that you don't have to be the smartest person ever to do this. You just have to be really hardworking and want this bad enough. Okay, so back to the story. After the first 6 months of my business, I was starting to get traction. I was starting to see the influx of people, of referrals coming in, and that was when I made my first big move, when I transitioned from being a full-time nurse to a part-time nurse. And so instead of lashing now for 15 hours a week, I could now open up my availability to 25 hours a week. So I think I told you guys that I started charging $60 for a full set, but in reality what I did was I had $100 as my full set prices, and then I was discounting in the beginning to $60 a full set. So at that same time, when I transitioned from full-time to part-time nursing, is when I decided to raise my prices again. So this time to $120 for a full set. And that was a calculated decision to go from full-time nursing to part-time nursing instead of just completely quitting my nursing job, because I wanted to lessen that financial pressure on my business. So when you're starting a new business, you're just starting from scratch maybe, and you just, you're getting the flow of things. And so you never want to make it where it's a lot of pressure, it's not fun anymore. And so if you can have it where you do have like a fallback, like a part-time job, or that you can have some sort of savings. So because I had more time that I could dedicate towards my business, I really wanted to learn more about marketing, and specifically on Instagram. And the reason for that is because I know how effective selling on and marketing your services on Instagram can be. So I took an online course, like an online Instagram course, and I really recommend that because it did help me understand more about the algorithm and knowing how to use my content as a strategy to market and attract a certain client. So taking a course can have a huge payoff, especially because it'll teach you the things that you know in a package. You're not just getting things here and there from the internet and then trying to make it your own. Try to find a mentor that is doing what you like or what you want to follow. And then if they have a course, then maybe that's something that you can take, because it does help you learn how to build really deep relationships with people. The thing that I love is when I have a client who comes to see me for the first time and then she tells me, oh my God, it's so crazy like meeting you in person. I feel like I already know you, like we're friends. And yeah, I just find that that's really, really rewarding. So as I'm continuously learning and trying to hone my lash skills and my marketing skills, I'm definitely getting an influx of new clients, and business was good. And so after the next 6 months, that's when I decided to raise my prices again. So I went from $120 to $160, which for me was such a big, bold move because most of the lash artists in my area charge about $120. So obviously 160 is, or 120 to 140, but still I was on the higher end. And the reason for that was because I didn't want to work 40 hours a week just to make the kind of money that I wanted. But anyways, I was making more money per hour lashing than in my nursing job. And so that's when I knew I wanted to quit. So I went from part-time nursing to a casual nurse. So when you're a casual nurse, it basically means that they'll call you for a shift and you can either say you want to work that shift or you don't. And so as a casual nurse, I only worked 2 shifts ever. So basically I kind of quit, but I was not officially quit. I didn't officially quit. But anyways, I officially quit my nursing job in February. And it was such a hard decision to not have that backup, because I was always raised by my mom to have, a salary, a good paying job, and one with benefits. And I gave up my pension plan, which to her was like such a win. And so for me to have given that up, it was a huge decision. But I'm so glad that I made it. Being a nurse was such a natural fit for me because I think I have that natural caring kind of qualities. And I am so blessed to be able to continue providing that, but in a different way. Being a nurse made me realize that I can't do a job just for the status and the money. It needs to fit with the lifestyle I envision for myself. Being a lash artist and an entrepreneur definitely has its ups and downs, but the rewards far outweigh the challenges. If you're interested in learning how to apply eyelash extensions and whether the lash career is something that you should even consider, you can download my free Start Your Lash Career checklist. Just click the link in the description down below. And if you want to know more about learning the skills of eyelash extensions, then check out next week's video on getting started with eyelash extensions. Please like this video and share it with a friend if you think it would help. Also, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss next week's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Sending you love. Bye!